Hello and welcome to the Ales and Fails Swiss stream. I'm your host, Ilwolf, otherwise known as Ales, good old Beer Goggles 21, Barstool Philosopher, the No Throne Cicerone. And welcome back to the stream. It is Thursday from where I hail from, and thank you for joining us tonight. I don't know if you were there, but last night, that would have been a Wednesday for me, we actually finished Radical Dreamers, which has been a game that I've been playing for quite some time, and it was nice to actually complete that particular adventure. A solid text adventure, but you know what, it's gonna be a while before I ever pick that game up again. More details on that VOD. So yeah, once again, appreciate your company tonight. How are you all doing? Hopefully you had a solid Thursday. Hopefully you're on your way out of the work week and onto some fun stuff in the weekend. I certainly find myself on the verge of a celebration, for tomorrow is my 7-year anniversary, and I will be celebrating heartily with my significant other. Very, very much looking forward to that. But before, of course, we go into that particular venture, it is Hades tonight. Now, if I'm talking about adventures that have been going on for some time, Hades has got to be the longest adventure that I've been in. It is actually the game, it might have been the second game with which I started streaming. I believe it was, my first stream ever was actually Pokemon Shield, and I think it was either second or third that was Hades, and so it's been a very long time since I've been streaming it. I should probably look up the details for that. At this point I'm at 90th or so escape attempt. So it's been a very slow progression. Once again, you'll recall that Old Ales is not the greatest game player, but you know what he lacks in game skill, he makes up in times a game is streamed, and that is worth something to somebody. But of course, before we move into the adventure, let's go ahead and talk about what's on tap tonight. This is one of the oldest beers that I remember having. It actually used to be under the banner of a different brewery, and I think that it was a buyout or something else like that. This is Banana Bread beer, and it is a beer of English descent. Now, what do you think Banana Bread beer is? So one of the things that I've talked about in the stream before is just the fact that a lot of Hefeweizens from Germany have a certain banana flavor. This is not one of those. This is not a wheat beer. This is actually an ale. Well, you might be wondering, how exactly is it accomplishing a banana flavor without it being a Hefeweizen? Well, there's a couple of ways that you can do that, but the way in which this particular beer is made, this is actually just a basic ale. I believe it is considered specifically an amber ale, and amber ales, as you might recall, are ales which are top fermenting beers. And the way that you get amber ales is that you actually mix lighter malts with darker malts, and that's how you get that amber color. Now, the color is not really the story to take home tonight. What happens is that once you create that beer, what you end up doing is, in the fermentation tank, you actually throw in what you call adjuncts, and adjuncts can be anything that you want to flavor your beer with. So things like fruits are obviously game. Last night I was drinking a stout called All the Chocolate, and the adjunct for that was actually chocolate. For this particular beer, you can guess that the adjunct itself was banana. And so what happens is that the yeast in the fermentation tank is not only feasting on the grains, but it is also feasting on the fruits, in this case being banana. And so it releases into the beer specific banana-like compounds. But that is my read on it. Let's see what Untapped has to say on the matter before we move on. And let's go over here. Okay, a solid 5.2% alcohol by volume. 5.2% in bottles. and 4.5% on cask. That's surprising that they just add 0.7% to each bottle. A silky, crisp, and rich amber-colored ale with a fluffy head and a strong banana note on the nose. And so the reason why I said that this particular beer has actually gone a bit of a change is because before it used to be under the Charles Wells brand. I don't know exactly what happened to it, but now it is under Eagle Brewery, and I'm glad that they picked it up. This is I'm not the biggest fan of English beers, and I can go into why I don't necessarily care too much for the English style. But this one is always something that I'd like to see on the shelves. It's something like comforting. It's like, oh, you know what, that banana bread is still here. It's been something that I've been seeing since I've enjoyed beer, and it is always something to call the attention, right? You're visiting the old bottle store with somebody, and they're like, well, I don't like beer ales. Why am I here? And why did you drag me here? I like to drink sweet drinks and watch movies. Why am I here? And then I say, you know what? I don't know, but try this banana beer. And they're like, okay, let's go for it. So yeah, that's it's a solid drink. It's nothing that I would necessarily say, you know what, this is the greatest beer in the world, but it is something a little bit of an offshoot, and it's kind of in my mind, kind of a traditional taste. So with that being said, let's go ahead and taste what this particular beer is like. So let's go ahead and open this. And some very strong banana notes, of course. Let's go ahead and drop it into my trusty old Hefeweizen glass. Even though this is not a Hefeweizen, I do want to capture that sensation. And so, like I said, this is an amber ale. It is actually very light in body. It is quite transparent if you actually you can actually see through it quite well. It doesn't really have any particulates in it, which means that this is not a hazy beer. In terms of a nose, very, very soft. It's got some very soft banana notes, a soft, sweet banana nose. Fang and ale beer. And it's got very light hopping. I wouldn't say anything to like write home about necessarily. What comes out is kind of just that rounded taste of like a sweet banana. It's not like that, in terms of banana, actually, this could be a whole side tangent here, but when I'm thinking of bananas, I specifically like bananas as they're shifting from the green to yellow nature, because they're turning sweeter, but they still got like a slight sour character to them. I find that most people don't care for that, and to that I say, I respect your decision, but I disagree with it. And so this is slightly more rounder. It's a wholly yellow banana type of scent to it. Again, very light. I want to say 1 out of 5 in terms of body composition. No bitterness, as I mentioned before, and it actually doesn't really embrace the tongue. It's actually quite fleeting in its taste. So I like it. Very muted flavors. I'm gonna say that if you're interested in something that tastes like banana, I would still steer you in the direction of a Hefeweizen. But if you want something fun, something classical, I would say that banana bread beer is certainly something that I wouldn't kick out of bed for crackers. So all that being said, I'm gonna say that this particular beer gets a wholly 2.5 average from the Ales and Fails Twitch stream. And that is a lot of medals. Let me go ahead and update my ticker. I know that I've got to catch up on chat just in a second here. But the people have to know, the people have spoken and they have asked, Ales, what are you drinking? Now welcome to the stream, Rio de Lobos. How are you doing this fine evening? It's hard to choose who my favorite god, to be honest. Dionysus sounds like a good one to choose tonight, though. This is good. So my favorite Greco-Roman deity is Dionysus, and that is because they are the god of hedonism It is not just necessarily drinks, but it is also just hedonism in general. It is partying, it is living life. And this might sound a little bit out of character for myself, but I do think the noblest pursuit is the pursuit of happiness. And I'm not saying, encroach on somebody else's happiness, but I am saying pursue it. And I've always felt like Dionysus kind of like speaks to that particular theorem. So I'm glad that you agree, Rio. I was just simply looking for a question to put out on chat. I was watching a few Hades videos today during my daily workout session, and I was like, oh, you know what? There's a lot of gods that a lot of personalities there. I wonder what people like, who people like the most. So thank you very much for answering that. But all that being said, I think we're going to go ahead, excuse me, and move into the adventure. And let me get this thing out of the way. It's like, Ailes, why are you still showing that nonsense? And so the last thing that happened is I actually succumbed to a Hades fight, which, as you can assume, actually was I feel like for the few times that I've encountered Hades himself, it is very much a humbling fight. But losing to him is certainly not like, oh, darn it, I lost again. It is kind of just like, wow, I got that far. I got a few hits in. I feel accomplished in a sense, and it's kind of a silly feeling, but yeah, it is a very solid fight. I like it every time that I actually jump in. So yeah, it's no mark of shame. It is actually an emblem of accomplishment. And welcome to the stream, friend of the stream, In I Go. How are you doing this fine evening?
He's strong, I'll give him that. Oh, really?
And of course, there's no fighting in the house.
I was just resting my eyes. You won't tell anybody, right?
Who is there to tell, Hypnos? Sorry, I was just looking for my trusty coaster here. Don't want to leave too many humidity marks on the old desk.
Notoriously vicious Cerberus is watching quietly his master's court.
I'm assuming father hasn't come back.
Back soon, boy. You're my good boy, yes you are.
Now, while I love my bacon, I will certainly take Cerberus over Wild Boy Churro any day. But don't tell him I said that. He's right over there. I haven't visited this chamber in a while. I wonder if anything's changed. Wall Masters. This looks like a teleporter in the Temple of Styx. LOL, but the food bill would be huge. You know what? I wasn't even thinking about that. What I was actually thinking is how much time I would actually have to spend taking them out. I'm already pretty bad at taking out my dogs. So trying to take out a 3-headed gigantic dog would probably take up most of my day.
Security log.
Okay, so escape attempt. Slain by Redacted beyond Styx. I think we all know who Redacted is.
Well, back to it.
Look at that. Shield. kind of funny. Actually, my second favorite weapon is the twin fist, and I've only ever used it four times, sorry. I feel like maybe once I beat the game, if I ever beat the game, the next weapon that I'll try finishing it with is the twin fists. I kind of just like boxing in general, the idea of boxing.
Everybody hanging in there, I take it?
And of course there's a door here, right?
Enough numbers for now.
How come you can't? You know what, it doesn't matter. That and also space. Do you have the space? Simple answer, no. But I feel like it downsides a few things, right? Come on. The demon dog from hell. I feel like I would have to make the space. Can't imagine what it would be like to pick up his poop, though. You gotta pick up that poop.
Mistakes are opportunities for learning, lad.
Achilles always finding the bright spot in any
Well, take care.
tunnels of darkness.
Hi.
Where are we with Dusa? Unfortunately, we don't have any nectars to give.
I hope it's not been too much having to care for Cerberus.
How are you,
He isn't quite as fearsome as he seems.
how are you doing this fine evening, Rio? I know you weren't having a great day yesterday. And sorry, actually, apologies for asking. Don't feel like you need to share anything that you don't want to share. I was just curious, that's all. Dusa.
Oh, Cerberus is a good boy. He's fine. One of the highlights of the job for sure. We really hit it off after he finally realized I'm not a ball. So I've been feeding him, grooming him, changing his water dish.
Cleaning up after him?
Most definitely, yes. By the way, he's gotta go. I mean, I've gotta go. I mean, you know what I mean. Bye.
Looks like everyone has to go.
Fates be merciful.
I wonder if there's a point where she doesn't just suddenly flee. That's okay. She's a charming one. Still a bit better today. Glad to hear it. You found out about the show called Bluey. You know, I've been hearing about that show for quite some time. One of the movie podcasts that I listen to has two gentlemen who happen to be fathers. And I guess they watched Bluey with their kids. I think it's supposed to be an Australian show. And the one thing that they keep hammering on is the fact that it is not just for kids. It does play to adult sensibilities. That's not enough for me to watch it, but it is probably a cut above the rest. Okay, so 2 diamonds. I am not doing that. Right, and so I'm trying to get everything in the lounge, I think. I think that was the plan. It's on Disney Plus. Yeah, I think I've seen it. I do have a Disney Plus subscription, but it might have been recommended to me. But again, there's just too many things to watch. Too many streaming services and too many things to watch. All that being said, I've been thinking about adding one more streaming service to my list because I really want to get back into watching AEW. AEW. Okay, let's go for the delicacy ambrosial.
Here you go. It can't be eaten as I understand, but it can be displayed for all to see.
Yes, Aussie, and I recommend watching compilations. Each episode is 7 minutes. Wow, that is definitely respectful of time. Also, you can actually choose between the rugs here. Elysian, Chthonic, Sanguine. That is the one that we have right now. Well, I might have to watch it at some point. Where's Orpheus? Weird. Apparently. I don't know if they truly are, though.
I am preoccupied, so please excuse me, child.
Well, it looks like nobody's available today. I wonder if it has something to do with chaos. But everything has everything to do with chaos. And I believe we do have some fish to claim.
Here, you can please, Shep. Till next time.
Some nice presents. I wish there was a way to preview the items that you put in. That's okay though. Any good deals tonight? 3 Sothonic keys for 25 darkness. You know what? Let's do it.
Take the special, please.
And we actually can get some more nectar by trading in our Sothonic keys. And nectars are the ones that we can actually use for befriending people, so that might be a good idea. It seems like I have 2 nectars right now. I don't really need the Sothonic keys for anything as far as I can tell right now. I've seen moments and cried, but like a good cry, like I feel, seen, heard cry. There's absolutely nothing wrong with expressing powerful moments of emotion through crying. I know that people generally associate it with sadness, but there is just the idea of if you feel like some piece of art very well resonates with the emotions that you have felt, that there is absolutely nothing wrong with having a cathartic moment where you express it through tears. And I wish more people understood that. There's been very many a time where I've just bawled over listening to a song that has read a line that has resonated with me, and it's been a song that I've listened to a number of times, but it just happened to resonate with me that specific day on that specific listening. So very simple things like that. Anyways, that's
Fair trade.
that's neither here nor there. I don't think we can buy anything more in terms of gemstones. Let's go ahead and move on. Let's reveal what the Mirror of Night has for us. But before we do that, the list of minor... the fated list. Someday I'll break free. And so this is the one I'm currently pursuing. I'm trying to renovate the lounge as much as possible. Zeus, Poseidon, or Broseidon as some people call him. I only need Rip Current to unlock this particular one. Blown Kiss. For the duo boons, it's quite the long list here. Wait. These are both duo boons? No, these are legendary boons, whereas these are duo boons. And of course, those bestowed by Primordial Chaos. Then we got the Stygian Blade. The weapon ones are probably not ones that I'm going to achieve anytime soon. The aspect of the Infernal Arms, and these are of course all of the weapon aspects. The Titan's Blood. I think these are all like the mid bosses and things like that. Ooh, Touch of Styx. So all the things that I actually need to buy from Chaos. Fish, and then of course all of the keepsakes. So nothing really there to check on.
Mirror.
So at this point, really the one that I was working towards was the reverse to God's Pride,
Maybe like that.
God's Legacy. And it is at max. Let's leave it there. So now we got a 10% chance of getting a boon to be either legendary or duo, which is something that I've been looking for quite some time. Very nice. Here's hoping for a most solid run. And for those of you just hopping on stream, we are enjoying a banana bread beer from Eagle Brewery, the most banana-y of breweries. Fiery Presence. Attack and special when undamaged. That's not gonna happen. Dark Regeneration versus Chthonic Vitality. Death Defiance, of course, is what we want. %50 dodge for 2 seconds before getting hit. Boiling Blood, of course, is attack and special. What is this? Reduce move speed and damage of foes with... I don't really think there's any particular use to this one. Infernal Soul, raise your supply. Regenerate for your cast rather than pick it up for... This might actually be a solid one. I might start putting some money into this. Ooh, 3 seconds. I wonder if I should keep it that way. Every 3 seconds you get a new one instead of picking it up. That might actually be good. Deep Pockets. Let's keep it at Deep Pockets. Thick Skin. Family Favorite. Deal bonus damage for each Olympian whose boons you have. And of course deals bonus damage versus foes afflicted by at least. That's never gonna happen. Olympian Favor versus Dark Foresight. And Fated Authority, which I'm not going to invest any money in right now. No, I think that's fine. Okay. So the main thing that we've actually switched here is the cast. At this point we can actually regenerate cast, which is an interesting mechanic. It's funny because when I started Hades, I actually never used the cast. It was just a thing where I thought, you know what, I don't need it. It's fine. It seemed like a very slow, ranged attack, but because of the boons that I got, specifically Demeter, I started to understand that it was actually useful as a ranged weapon. Speaking of Demeter, I've actually got the Frostbitten Horde at 100%, which is solid, but I think I'm going to go pursue Athena because I find that her deflect skills are actually quite useful in my fight towards the end. In the end, I might just jump between those two.
Should help.
And of course, we're still working with the Shield of Chaos, the aspect of Chaos, which is the strongest aspect. And I've got 3 shields that I'm throwing, which means see, that is a thing of beauty. Look at that. All right, let's get out of here, folks.
All right, one more time.
Like Daft Punk once said. And it is the Hammer of Daedalus. Bull Rush charges up faster, which is quite solid. Attack hits twice, but does not knock foes away. I think, nah. And your Boulder Rush charges. Instead, fires a piercing shot. I think we're gonna go with the Sudden Rush.
Power.
And it is a thing of beauty. Okay, I'm back. My game is over. Welcome back, and I go. Is it the game of life? Or perhaps a game of Monopoly? Or perhaps the most dangerous game? It is some more darkness. And one of the nice features about using the aspect of chaos is just the fact that every once in a while, primordial chaos will speak to us. And I do mean he always speaks to us in general, but it is nice to hear him in game. Alright, finally, Athena. LOL, I'm trying not to play the sleeping game, but I'm losing. Hey, if you gotta rest and recover, that's totally fine. Rio, it's totally up to you. Certainly don't feel like you need to stay simply because you have to. That actually reminds me, this afternoon I was, so I stayed up pretty late last night. Certainly far past the stream, and I was trying to like recover some sleep in the afternoon, and I kind of just find myself unable to sleep. And it is always just a thing with me that even though I'm super sleepy, I cannot sleep during like the afternoon. It's impossible to me. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? I don't know. I guess we'll find out when my time is up. Boom. And where are we in terms of Athena? Only 3 hearts, huh? Voila.
Goddess Athena, please accept this gift. Your wisdom ever guides me toward the light.
Hi, how very generous of you to offer me this gift. I'm very grateful, though I ask that you not go out of your way on my account. Let's please stay focused here.
Wow, definitely putting the line. What is the line? There's a specific term for this. The just friends line. Let's call it that. There's a better term for it. If anybody on Olympus might have the capacity to mend the rift between my master and themselves, it must be her. Though, even in all her wisdom, I remain unsure if she can sway my master's obstinance. Okay. Not sure if I'm going about it right way else. I think I'm about from GM1, highest rank besides being top 500, to Diamond 1 because I thought I didn't deserve my rank. But now I understand I did. The game considers me a unit. So they pair me up with some of the worst teammates of all time. Solo queue back then was good. Matchmaking paired you up with good individuals. Now it's better to squad up. Definitely boundaries, Rio. But the game has such praise, but it thinks I should carry, which I will not because the game is to have fun. I won't stress if they, my teammates, aren't either. But even if they are trying and not good, I will join them. That is a beautiful analogy, and I like that. Alright, let's see what Athena has to offer here.
You can always count upon assistance from me, Zagreus. I always shall prioritize the needs of our family above everything else.
So my attack is stronger and can deflect, which is a solid one. My special is stronger and can deflect. I'm going to say let's go with the special. I'm playing and losing as much as I can, so the game thinks of me as a pooper, so it can pair me up with the geeks who care so much to win. So this is I believe that is what you call professional smurfing, if I'm not mistaken. Overwatch, huh? Imagine that. Who do you play in Overwatch? Actually, now that I'm curious. I played it for a little bit back when it first started with my siblings. And I was always Reinhardt. Because you know what? I love shields. That being said, I did terrible at it. If there's a game genre that Old Ales is very poor at, it's FPSs. Actually, wow, okay, I got hit twice. Let me correct that. There's two genres that I'm terrible at. FPSs and sports. My main is McCree. Oh, and Reaper. Reaper is very cool, very fashionable. One of my siblings always used to play them. But now I'm playing the characters who take the least skill out. Despite, because if you can't beat them, join them. That is certainly one way to go about life. And so, coin or palm? The palm is only going to boost the power of our Athena boon, so I don't really know that this actually makes sense. McCree was renamed to Cassidy. Really? Is that a fact? And if so, why is that the case? Cassidy, like Butch Cassidy? Alright, let's go with coin. Actually, this is so difficult. Thanks to the scandals. I keep missing that there's a wall right there. Oh, which is time. And nice, a trap kill. There was a sexual harassment scandal. I gotta say, I guess I've been out of the loop in terms of this, and I'm not about to ask you to elaborate on that. But that sounds unfortunate. Let chaos fly. But am I doing it right? Because I want to have fun and not stress to win. Like I remember my friend saying, I bet it's so fun to be in bronze and not know what the F you're doing and just have fun. So I'm dumbing myself down because I won't let these, lack of a better word, peasants get the best of me. It's a game, it's meant to be enjoyed, so I will play dumber than to teach them a lesson. Well, I guess it all depends on what you're aiming to do, right? If you really simply just want to have fun with the game, then do continue with what you're doing and place yourself in the level that you think plays the most enjoyable. I don't know that that's everyone though, right? I feel like there are some people that like, for a lack of a better term, a challenge. Actually, that reminds me of a funny story. Back when I was a kid, I used to play what is this game called? Ninja Gaiden, the original, no, not the original, but the sequel to Ninja Gaiden. And I remember specifically, it was a pretty challenging game, kind of like the Xbox Ninja Gaiden, but I remember specifically that I would beat the first level, and then because I couldn't finish the second level, I would just like commit suicide every time, because I wanted to have an enjoyable experience. And I don't quite know or can reason why I did that at this day and age. But it is a sort of thing where I kind of found comfort in just replaying that first level over and over again. Now, is that a good way to play it? I mean, I feel like I probably should have invested more time into like learning how to play the game, as opposed to simply doing the thing that I was good at. But I can't ultimately suggest that it was an invalid way of playing, if that makes any sense. It's kind of weird thinking about myself as another person back then. Thank you, Els. You are most welcome. I'm glad that some of that resonated with you. 166. Let's go for the mid-boss. I've gotten to 500 numerous times, so no need to prove anything now. Yeah, it doesn't sound like it. I certainly wouldn't want to face you in Overwatch. I was so bad at it. Oh, these guys are hardier than most. So it's not called Poseidon or Demeter. I think I want to go and see if I can replace my casts. Ooh, it's a Chaos Gate. Where are we with Demeter? Let's see if one more can make her like us just a bit more.
Your power and your wisdom have been of such help, good Lady Demeter. I'm honored. This is the least I can do in exchange.
I was quite certain that the youth today was lacking any sort of tactfulness, young Zagreus. For once, I'm thankful to be proven wrong.
All right. My understanding is, despite popular belief, Demeter is no direct relation to Lord Hades or his brothers, being born of more ancient Titan stock. She certainly has taken pains to distance herself from Zeus in particular, often leaving Olympus for long stretches in search of something.
Your father Hades and I share a common fate, each having lost a child fully grown.
Wow.
Except that he's a hollow fool whose child left. Whereas my daughter never would have. Ever.
Who is she talking about? Okay, so it could be my attack or my dash. Let's go with the Frost Strike. And of course, let's jump into Chaos Gate. Wow. Let's see. You know when that McCree and Cassidy scandal went on, this mutual tried to get on me for adding my opinion to the matter. My analogy was, why would you punish the son, McCree the character, just because the dad, the employee who harassed, named McCree IRL, was an a-hole? The son could be a totally different person to the dad. Ooh, hold on a second. Can be a totally different person to the dad. Another example, Chris Benoit and his son, David Benoit. Excuse me, folks, I'll be right back. Let's go with this. Okay, sorry about that, folks. Had to tend to some issues here at the ale den, but I think we might be okay. But then again, we might not. So welcome back to the stream. We're playing Hades right now. We're in the middle of the run that we started today. We're in Tartarus, and we just entered the Chamber of Primordial Chaos. And hey, buddy, Churro's here with us, and we were talking about McCree. So I don't actually know the ins and outs of this story, so I am not necessarily one to comment on it. But from what the basic stuff that you are suggesting, and I would say in a very basic sense, yes, I would not hold a son in contempt for their father's actions. Again, I don't know the full story, so I will leave it at that. I am not about to make an opinion out of a matter that I don't fully understand. Okay, so let's see what Chaos has in store for us today. So we're at 4 hearts. I think we're good. Always appreciate Chaos. Okay. For the next 3 encounters you take 45 damage, but then after that you get 36 more hearts. It's okay. Halting it close. For the next 4 encounters your dash has negative 37 range, but then you find more stuff. And then for the next 3 encounters you cannot earn coin, but then you gain 1 more bloodstone, and this might actually be the one to go with. No coin. Look at that.
Look at all that coin.
That I could have gotten, and yet I didn't. Let's go visit with Dionysus. Okay. Tomorrow feels like an event to me, but it's just a movie. Some may call it cinema, but I have some high expectations. Well, why wouldn't you have high expectations of Christopher Nolan's work? I do think he is one of the greatest visionaries of our times in terms of cinema. So I hope you enjoy your viewing. Do you have a favorite Christopher Nolan film? Let's go. Man, I haven't drank water since we've started. It's the Mad Bombers. Oh, come on. Did I just eat that for no reason? Oh, come now. Did I just like walk into that bomb? I remember when I used to go into this room and it would be the sort of thing where I absolutely didn't get hit. And today I'm just waffling. Where are we with Dionysus? Not high enough.
You wrestled with some satyrs near the surface, Zach. Nice work making it that far, and I just want to let you know that they are definitely not my crew, man. Satyrs I know aren't like that at all.
You surely know the fun, satyrs, Dionysus. So my cast lobs a large explosive that bursts into festive fog. That might sound nice. Ooh. Strong drink. That is what I need right now. But we haven't gotten an aid yet, so this might actually be useful. Let's go with the trippy shot.
To my
I'm looking forward to having a better aid. Look at that, it's like a bomb. Memento, beautiful movie. Did you know that setting of that movie was an inspiration to Suda 51 as to why he has Travis living in a motel? So that's interesting. I would say Memento is probably in my top. I would say it's a solid number 3 in terms of Nolan films. Because I did like Interstellar just a bit more, and that's my number 1. Then The Dark Knight. Although I guess I could flip those two. And then Memento. You know, there is something to be said about the chronological structure of that film and the reason why it is built that way. I had no idea that that actually inspired Suda to have Travis be in a motel, but now I definitely see it. That's actually pretty cool.
What is it now?
I thought I'd find you here.
Oh, great. 45 seconds. Why did that fall over there? Just trying to destroy all these guys that are blocking my path here. How am I so low on health? It was probably because of those blasted mad bombers.
You waste my time.
For safekeeping.
Safekeeping indeed. Another movie that inspired him as far as the love interest between Travis and Sylvia is the movie Paris, Texas. I actually haven't seen that one. What's that about? You saw it with the girl that you liked / loved. Ooh, there's a fishing spot.
It's you or me, fishies. Fish. The hellfish.
Not bad. Alright, well, let's hope that we can get some health back soon, because otherwise we're going to spend this particular Death Defiance very soon. Wow. Death defied to a trap. Great. This is going to be an excellent run, folks. The reflexes are just not where they need to be. Well, let's get as far as we can and collect as much as we can.
My chaos button switched to a new effect.
Okay, so we get an extra cast, which regenerates. Not bad. Okay. All I can say, it's about a guy who's looking to see his son and then take his son to his mother, who he hasn't seen in a long time. But if you remember in No More Heroes 2, how he talks to Sylvia behind that booth where he can call and talk to her, but she can't see him. Same thing happened in that movie. He went to her numerous days just to let her vent and see her. That's very interesting. No, I had no idea that that movie actually played a role in the inspiration for those particular scenes. I always thought that it was curious that they met in that way, so I guess now I know. Blade of Atlas, your cast deals 50% more damage for 6 encounters. And more hearts. This is good.
I can use this.
Let's go see Sisyphus.
It's him, Baldy.
Four hearts.
Sisyphus, I've meant to ask, where are you getting all this stuff you give to me? You must be pretty well connected around here.
Oh, well, you know, I have acquaintances amongst the locals here. Try to be neighborly with everyone is all. It's not just Baldy and myself, as you can see. Sometimes I come across things that would be better off in other hands than mine.
What a thoughtful lad. There's of course some healing, some darkness, and some coin. Honestly, I think we need the most healing right now.
Here you are.
Thank you, mate.
Beautiful. But how about that Baldy? Let's see, she finds out it's him and then gives her the sun and never comes back, so he didn't even spend the day physically with his old love interest because the spark isn't there anymore, but he knows the kid needs a mom. Dad is irresponsible, just like Travis. Lone wanderer. Well, like my father used to say, men are hunters. Of course, my dad is a beast from another time. Let's see. What am I doing here? So we got our... Should we give it a gift? Sure.
You know, I think I'm growing more accustomed to relating to a giant stone. Okay.
I think Baldy's warming up to you.
Great.
Getting ready for the rodent?
Alright, let's move on.
You got this, Prince.
Actually, ooh, nice. This is the room before the room. All my love, too long ago. Aphrodite, huh? Metal Gear, huh?
I'll take it.
Passion Dash. Resist some damage. That might actually be nice. I don't think we've ever had that one.
Hello to you as well, mate.
Okay, let's proceed on to the fight. And maybe after that we can take a proper break. Is it my dear?
Yes,
No.
Meg.
Up for another fight, I say.
I think at the very least I am blocking her attacks, which is nice. But I am not deflecting them because it's my special that is the one that deflects things. Come on, block, dude. Wow. Talk about slow reflexes today. Boom.
Yes.
Okay. And we get some hearts back. Fortunately, we lost no lives in this particular matchup. I think we've got Megs's modus operandus relatively figured out, but it is still a matter of following through. And like I said, I'm not at 100% in terms of reflexes, because you know what, this is the Ales and Fails Twitch stream, and one of the things that we handicap ourselves with is
Don't mind me, Father.
strong drink. As far as question of the night, I couldn't give you a final answer because my knowledge comes solely from God of War 3. I think the coolest was Achilles and Hades, in my opinion. I do like Achilles a lot. At least in his presentation here in Hades. He was invincible except for that heal. But why do you like Hades? Where are we in terms of this keepsake? Only halfway through? Okay. Let's see if we can buy anything particularly useful.
Just what I need, except...
Oh, come now. Come now. Alright. I think we're gonna take a proper break right here. Gonna take a short bio break here, folks. We'll be back on the other side, maybe 5 minutes or so, with something else to drink, probably something strong, and we'll continue our adventure here in Hades. Hopefully this time I won't put 2 songs at the same time, so it won't be cacophonous. But yeah, see you on the other side, folks. Okay, and welcome back to the Ales and Fails Twitch stream, folks. Welcome back to Thursday night, and this is what we call our modern speakeasy block, where we play modern games, or at least modern-ish games. I know Hades came out, what, in 2020? I don't know. I think it was like within the last 3 years or something like that. Maybe even longer than that. It is a modern game, but it is not, you know, the most modern thing in the world or anything of that sort. It is certainly finely tuned. And yeah, we're in the middle of a run. We just finished our boss fight with Megara. But unfortunately, we're not in the greatest states. We've actually already lost the Death Defiance. We haven't found any like great boons or anything of that sort. So I don't know if this particular run has any legs. But you know what? As usual, we'll give it our best shot. And that shirt goes hard. Yeah, I think it does. I kind of like it. I don't. I feel like in terms of a search of personality, this is actually quite solid. So thank you very much for remarking that. But speaking of personality, I am going to not make a smart decision tonight, and for the rest of the evening, we'll be having some Shadow Band from Blue Oak. Now, what I'm holding in my hand is no normal can. This is a 32-ounce crowler. So you might be wondering, well, what are you talking about? What exactly is a crowler ales? Well, a crowler is a can that is prepared at the brewery from a tap, and it is filled for you to take elsewhere. It is so called a crowler because it is similar to a growler, which is a glass container for draft beer, but it is in a can, so therefore crowler. And so this is at least 2 drinks. It is 950 milliliters. Shadow Band itself is an imperial stout. And so the idea, well, let's take a step back here. A stout is an ale that is not necessarily brewed with malts necessarily, but it is brewed with roasted barley. And what that does, it bestows upon the beer a certain type of darker taste, maybe some slight earthen notes, maybe some coffee notes there. Certainly the beer is meant to showcase its grains over its hops. Stouts tend to be a bit sweeter than standard ales, and they also tend to be a lot heavier in alcohol content, whereas you have something golden or pale, less than 5%, stouts tend to hit harder, starting at around 6% and higher. Unless you're talking about Guinness, of course. But yeah, Shadow Band is an imperial stout, which means that it is actually a lot stronger. I believe it is a 10% alcohol by volume, if I'm not mistaken. It is something I've had before. I've been saving this can for quite some time. I want to say maybe a couple weeks. And we're going to have it tonight on stream. I probably should have had it from the get-go, but you know what? The night is young. Let's go ahead and have this one. But before I go ahead and have this particular beer, let's go ahead and see what Untapped has to say on the matter. And let me go over here. Let's pull this screen right here and go over here. Okay, so Shadow Band, and it is a healthy 10% alcohol by volume, as I suggested. Hashtag that moment when you post peer-reviewed literature on social media that dares to question the public health narrative and the thought police algorithm throttles you. I don't know what they are trying to say here specifically, but you know what? I feel like that's a statement that came out of the pandemic, and at least my first read of it is not all that positive. But it is from our friends at Blue Oak, which we do adore. Let's go ahead and actually sample this to see what this is like. And here's hoping that this crowler doesn't explode on me. Unfortunately, crowlers, much like cans, can actually be very eventful when it comes to the time of popping open. Okay, so no major mishaps here. So some slight chocolate on the nose, I can already tell. Very foamy, a very strong head. A little bit like Guinness in that sense. And so completely opaque, you can't actually see any light through it. Like I said, a pretty big head even though I poured it properly. In terms of a nose, it's definitely got a chocolate finish. Not too many coffee notes. I don't think I'm understanding that there. And yeah, a little bit sweet. So fingernail reviewer. And it is actually a little bit more bitter than I expected. I want to say in terms of that chocolate flavor, very much dark chocolate flavor. In terms of body composition, this is a solid 4 out of 5. It's actually quite thick, which is surprising. I didn't expect it to go this hard. It certainly clasps the tongue, and there is definitely strong bittering notes. You can actually feel it towards the end. It's actually clawing, and it definitely lingers. And yeah, some maple notes, but again, I feel like the overpowering taste here is actually some bittering agents, and I wonder if it's more from the roast and less than a little less from the hops themselves. So what can I say? This one is a tough one to rate because it is a sipping beer, and by what I mean by that is it is not necessarily something that you just chug. It is something that you sip and you ponder and you think about it, because it's just got such complexity about it. Certainly a solid beer. So what are we giving Shadowband today? I want to say it's actually a pretty high alcoholic beer. In terms of flavor, it is not necessarily what I'm looking for. I want something just with a little more sweetness when I'm thinking about my stouts. So 4 is actually quite good. Sky's the limit. Now, whereas I'm on level 3 on this one on my IRL account, I am probably in level 20. Beautiful. So let me go ahead and update my ticker, just in case anybody pops in and wonders, hey, what is Ales drinking today, and what is that on his headset? They will know. They will know. That liquid courage coming out tonight, that is exactly what that is. Okay, so with that, let's go back to the world of Hades. And I guess before I leave this particular beer, I will say that I do need to drink water between it and the next sip, just because, like I said, the bittering notes just kind of just like latch onto your tongue. Ales is a furry confirmed. Yeah, how about that? The more you know, I guess. Let's get out of here.
Going up.
And we made it to Asphodel, which in some ways it's very reassuring because nothing really challenges us too much in Asphodel, but at the same time, one of the things that I really hate is just the fact that it is surrounded by lava. And that is annoying because if we stand too long on the lava, we'll start burning. Turning up the heat over here. Let's go. Oh, come on. I was barely stepping on it. And like I was saying, it's just the idea of like closely stepping on that fire. That's very frustrating. Because it'll get you no matter what you're doing. Okay. No fishing spots, and it seems like we'll be seeing Auntie Demeter. Smash. You know, one thing I should probably play for the, I don't know, the bar fight corner. Always thought about playing Smash Brothers for it, but then I remember that the Nintendo Online capabilities for it are terrible. So that wouldn't really help anyone. Smash Ultimate, one of the few games that remain true to this day as a couch co-op mostly game. What are you doing? Alright. And unfortunately we have no more nectar to give. Okay.
In the name of Hades.
Frozen Touch. I think we'll simply go with that. It's revenge damage freezing. We are freezing, folks. Anything else of interest in this room? Okay, so we got either the pizza power or the heart of a centaur. I wish I had a bit more health here, so I think I'm gonna go with this.
Steady now.
Steady Netty. Simple enough.
Looks clear. That's life. Refreshing.
Ooh, another center heart. That rarely happens in sequence. Come on. Why isn't this thing defeated yet? Ooh, get out of the fire. Ah, everything is just fire here. Okay, ridiculous. Well, at least we're at that 150 that we looked for. I matched with this one girl who goes by they, them, non-binary. That's cool. A lot more people are doing that openly these days. See what we can purchase. So, chance to drop hard items. 50% more damage when you strike. Let's go with this one. So it's either Dionysus or Athena. Unfortunately, even though I love Dionysus, we're gonna have to go with Athena. She gives me more in terms of shields. Must have been then I switched the filter to everyone. She seems my type. We FaceTime and talked for a bit. Seems like we like each other physically. Want to get to know her more and playing it cool. I've learned over time neediness and I want can scare them away. But I feel like it goes against what I love and believe, but this may pay dividends, but only time will tell. Well, I guess are you suggesting that this might not be what you're looking for because of how they identify themselves? Is that kind of the idea? And I pray to goodness that it is not, but we are all different. No, not that. Okay. That's cool. I don't know why I thought that the discussion was going in that direction. Old Ales tends to assume too many things, and you know what happens when you assume? You make mistakes. Oh, come on. Oof, got stuck by it. Oh, come on. Get out of the fire, dude. Okay, at least Medusa's gone. Okay. Where are you? Okay. So we've already read this entry. Can we give her anything more? No, unfortunately not.
In the name of Hades.
Ooh, look at this. If you have no death defiance, your heart slowly recovers. And this is both Demeter and Athena. Look at that. And then this is a replacement. No, let's go with this. That sounds like fun. I mean, like, I believe in love to put up a lot that is me up front, and them as well, and see eye to eye and make it work. No playing games, etc. But I know leaving girls in the back burner always makes them come back. They don't want to a priority. They don't want to be a priority. Well, it is interesting that that has been your conclusion, and I am not about to question it because, once again, I haven't been in the field in decades. Has it been decades? It has been decades. Is it wise to wait like this? Because usually all the girls I've been with, I make my case, and that same day they decided if, yeah, I want to see them or no. Well, I guess my thought would be, is this a strategy that you're trying to employ by playing the waiting game, or if this is something that simply comes natural to this particular transaction, right? Would you rather just hold it and give it some time before you explore? If it is the former, then I would say maybe that's not the way to go, because I don't think that if you are looking for a long-term relationship that you should necessarily be making anybody quote-unquote play into your hand. But if you don't feel like pursuing it right at this moment, if it is not something that you feel like you need to actively pursue, then, you know, let it be for now, let it breathe. Exactly, strategy. It feels natural too, but I'm not desperate. See, and that's fine. I understand the need to vantage yourself into a position of how to say, in a position of I guess an advantageous position. But if it does not come natural to you, then I would kind of drop that particular strategy. I think, you know, we've spoken a number of times about the idea of what is the idea that we've hearkened to in the past? Just the notion of fish in the sea and the number of people that are out there. And so it is, at least from my perspective, the notion that if while you might want to position yourself in a certain something that benefits you necessarily, I wouldn't necessarily go about doing that with every single individual. And if somebody doesn't necessarily call you to arms, call you to react, then maybe that person is not the person that you're looking for. I think I went around in circles for a bit on that one. Anyways, that's my very limited take on what you're describing. Learning? No.
How do you do?
I find that this trippy shot is not what I'm looking for. I feel like I only use it very seldomly. Does anyone use seldom anymore?
More coming.
Come now. Ooh, nice.
Nice meeting you.
Beautiful. Let's see. I would want to, but I could scare her away. I want to give this a try at least once for the girl that I want, and seeing if waiting pays off or not. I understand what you meant. Well, that's very generous of you. I guess I'm still trying to understand my own response to that. But like I said, I think you should always protect yourself, and I think you should never set yourself up for failure. And maybe, just maybe, it is the idea that you know, at some point you don't need to position yourself. Maybe it's less about gaining the advantage and more about getting to know that person. This again coming from somebody that hasn't been on the field in recent times. Let's go with Hermes. I think we need some speed here. Of course, speed is not going to save our butt. And we're still enjoying some Shadow Band from Blue Oak Brewing. For those of you just tuning in, that invisible raid that joined me a while ago. Wise words. You are the only one that thinks that. But thank you for saying so. Ooh, where are we?
Alright, host, here's the goods, fresh from our mountaintop. Take all the time you need deciding, if you want to be a slowpoke.
Attack is faster, or whenever you are hit, you have a chance to dodge automatically, which is nice. And of course, the auto reload. Hopefully that saves us from some attacks. See, to be honest, I assume she's the crazy type, like the liberal and all that dyed hair thing, but she looks nice and also doesn't seem too quick to judge, but does. So here's a funny thing that I've always thought. The first thing that every single one of us does, and may or may not admit it, is that we judge. We are human first, and second, we judge. Even if you like to think that you don't, even if you suggest that you hold judgment until a later meeting, every single person makes up their mind about somebody very quickly after they meet them. And it is not a bad thing. That is just a natural thing. But I will say that the more mature individual, once they have that initial impression, will modulate and will moderate once they spend more time with that person. Learning.
Well, look at you, Lernie.
I like the color pattern of those horns. Ooh, it's got the bombs. Somebody set us up the bomb. Jeez, come on.
Ah, you. What now?
Okay, now we got the summons. And we still don't have a summon of our own. And there they go. Okay, round 2. What? I was shielding.
One last shot.
I guess you can't really shield against tremors. There we go, round. Then second round of extra heads. And if we could just get rid of a couple. Like the odd couple. These guys are ridiculous. It might just be the fact that I don't have the right set of boons here. Okay. Round 3. got caught in the festive fog of war. Geez, so many bombs here. Boom. Let's see, I know I can attract her, but keep her probably not. Well, you never know. You never know. Else I'm making it out alive. You know what? I think I sealed my fate when I decided to go for the shadow band. But it's all good because this is the Ales and Fails Swiss stream, and we are delivering on both of those promises. Ales and Fails. Okay, so we've got no death defiances. Sure, why not? So I've got one life left indeed. So the only way that I can actually turn this one around if I meet Patroclus, which is the NPC in the Fields of Elysium, and he has the ability to restore all of my death defiances, so which would restore all of my 3 extra lives. Okay, so ensure a Chaos Gate will spawn ahead. I don't know if that's worthwhile at this point. Nah, let's not buy anything. Any fun plans for the end of the weekend I go? Other than, of course, watching Oppenheimer.
Champions of Elysium, I've returned. You know, if I was permanently dead, maybe I wouldn't mind all this.
Okay, so it's either Aphrodite or the Hammer of Daedalus. Let's mix it up. Let's go with the hammer. I should think about it now or tomorrow afternoon. Yeah, you know, the weekend is your oyster, as they say, or somebody said that. As for myself, so as you might have noted, I won't be streaming tomorrow, my Friday afternoon stream, and that is because I will be stepping out with my significant other. We are celebrating 7 years of being together. So that's my plan for tomorrow. It's mostly dinner and drinks. Yeah, it should be a fun one, I think. 7 years, imagine that. Yeah, thank you. It's had its ups and downs, don't get me wrong. Yeah, lots of ups and downs. But you know what? Achievement unlocked. It's good. It's great. I hate these butterflies. They're so resilient. Beautiful. Boom. That's a nice one. She better not break up with you. You know what? I know you're joking, and I joke about it too, but she could do a lot better. She could definitely do a lot better. And I have said this to her a number of times, so if she doesn't make a move in that direction, then that's fine by me. Special can strike up to 4 additional foes before returning. I like that.
Good as new.
You know what? I appreciate the thought. But we take the good and we take the bad. Alright, let's go with the Palm of Power, I think, on this one. Don't sell yourself short. I agree. I agree with the sentiment, and that's probably something that I would say to people. But it is sometimes difficult not to, be introspective. And I feel like you are an introspective individual. I feel like you probably look at yourself and think about your placement in life and how other people perceive you. So it's difficult not to think about that sometimes. I feel like, how to say this, if I love someone, I am willing to let them into my inner thoughts, and one of my inner thoughts just happened to be, you know what, I am heavily flawed, so consider that. I don't want to take away from anyone's agency or decision. I am just me. Let's go with the Pizza of Power. Don't remind her of that. Okay, I will certainly not remind her of that during dinner. That would be a very weird thing to say at that time. Oh, by the way, you could be doing a lot better with somebody else. I hate these guys. Of course, these guys have shields, so you kind of have to get behind them in order to actually strike any damage. Into the festive fog.
So close.
One thing I constantly wonder is whether or not we are actually immune to the festive fog itself. One of the few things for which I appreciate Elysium is the fact that it does have pretty open areas as opposed to like Asphodel, which does have open areas, but it is, excuse me, riddled with lava.
Good enough to eat.
Let's go with your cast.
Extra blessing.
Let's see. You know what else this one pretty Puerto Rican mammy called me on FaceTime the other day. We would have fun and stuff. But back then I was not satisfied with myself and I thought she's out of my league. But she genuinely found me cute and sexy. And I learned that day to accept that. But what I'm trying to say is I am standing at the edge of my seat. Now in I go, are you trying to teach an old dog new tricks? Because I don't believe that's how that rule goes. Okay. Let's go for that palm. Room full of traps. things have such high health. Nice.
God's grant me strength.
Okay, so the Divine Flourish could actually go up to level 3. But then the revenge damage over here could actually also increase in strength. Let's go with the Divine Flourish. Okay, so some hearts for our troubles. More traps. I don't think there's anything worth purchasing here. Let's see. When she called recently, I was about to do my thing, wink wink, and she interrupted and instead focused my attention to her. It was hard to keep it up, although she's stunning, had me questioning myself, because I understand a few months ago my abdominal issue would wear me down, but not no more, so why the no-show for Mr. Indeed. Well, I certainly understand that. At the very least, it sounds interesting that she was able to turn it around on you and have you focus on your own state and your own what's the word I'm looking for? Potential. And maybe that potential is actually quite good. I guess, do you feel like this particular exchange rang true to you? Do you feel like that is what am I trying to say here? This is why we have water, folks. Too much festive fog here. Like, I understand in person to have some anxiety, but over FaceTime I was like, why? No, absolutely. I think sometimes it is very simple to carry this notion that you can't necessarily be yourself, or that you're holding back, or that you're playing it defensively. And I know that there's a time and a place for that. But I can only assume that what you're trying to suggest is that there was no particular need for you to harbor those particular faculties. So it made me think I shouldn't be so fast across the finish line. And I think that's a fine approach to take. I'm not about to suggest yes, do that, or yes, don't do the other thing. I think that sometimes patience is key with a lot of these things, and not necessarily for strategizing or anything like that. It is more about consuming the situation, digesting it, and thinking for a proper path ahead, right? It is about the idea of like, what can I do with this? Does this ring true to me? And maybe what can I see beyond what happened here in this particular exchange? And you know, there's of course a lot of people that are impatient and want to move forward. But like I said, I feel like there's so many people.
You have returned to my chamber. I trust you are familiar now with what this means.
I feel like an individual such as yourself probably courts a lot of individuals, and so you don't need to settle on somebody who is trying to rush you through these things. If you yourself need to think and evaluate, then why not do that? And if they don't give you that opportunity, then why are you even considering them? Maybe some food for thought there.
It means I've challenged you to a battle of strength and glory, because apparently that's all there is to do for fun around here for those such as yourself.
And now I am being challenged by both. That is some strong shadow band. Goodness.
That. Yes. Essentially, that is correct. Prepare.
Let's do this, Asterius. You can't beat me, I've got the Shield of Chaos. This guy just chases you around the room. Now you know what would be good right now? Some delicious French fries. Oh, come on. 20? This is maddening. It's like a bullfighter.
You're strong.
Ha, I thought that he was quitting. Looks like he's piercing through my shield, which is not good. Health is still up, which is actually quite surprising. It seems like we're wearing him down very slowly. Oh, come on. Trying to hit him with every single one of my shields. Round over.
Got him again.
Okay. That's true about the consideration thing, but I always feel like the opportunity's there and they might be impatient, but I need to take when it's there because in my past high school, I let so many women down. Don't want to deprive myself of a blessing, in this case, viewed in front of me. But why do I feel like that? You know, I do think that there is something to be said about seizing the day, and if the opportunity is there, then why not take the opportunity? Sure. But does that agree with you these days? Is that who you are these days? Is that something that you want? And if the answer is yes, then certainly go ahead and pursue. But if you wish to evaluate, if you wish to consider, if you wish to maybe consider your own standards before pursuing, then maybe you owe it to yourself to be a bit more patient with the particular exchange. That's what I would say. I hate to be present a generalization here, but I do think that impatience is a mark of how to say, youth. And not that there's anything wrong with being young, but sometimes it is the idea that if you don't move forward quickly enough, then you lose that opportunity. And I do feel like, yes, that might be true, but there are more worthwhile opportunities a lot of the time if you give them time. And that is what I'm willing to sign off on. Okay, Athena. Yes, French fries. Yeah, French fries would be divine. Divine dash. Alright, let's go with... There we go. Cajun or not, maybe dirty. Some lime and hot Cheetos. I feel like I like Cajun fries the most, actually. Though I will say that some of my favorite fry situations have been poutine fries, so Canadian fries. Nothing. I do love those cheese curds. Good question, Ales. I'll think about that. Interesting. Never thought about it like that. Impatience is youth. No, I think it's kind of funny. One of the things that I was thinking about is just the idea that people who are young and impatient, which is anachronistic because people who are young have the most time in the world, whereas old people are running out of time, and in theory they should be the ones that should be moving the fastest, but they don't. And I do feel like a lot of the time that is because they are looking for the real deal. They're looking for the whole package. But maybe that's my own limited perspective. Soldiers here. Ooh, avoided that. Far too many soldiers.
That was regenerating.
There's some witches here too.
That one fully rearmed.
What are we talking about here? Too many traps around here. Boom. Ales, open up my mind here. I think that's a generous thought. I'm simply suggesting things that you might want to think about, that's all. Patroclus. This might actually give us a chance to replenish our dead defiances. Where are we in terms of the stream? Wow, okay. Let's see. You know, it's interesting because you're the man, bro, with these words, and ideally I would be in completion for the ladies with a guy like you. But interesting enough, our tastes are different and don't intersect. Well, that does sound interesting. Like I said, I'm glad that some of the things that I say resonate with you, but I absolutely in no way can suggest that the experiences that I faced during my time are anything similar to the things that you're describing. So take the things that I say with a huge grain of salt. Largely, a lot of the things that I say is, you know, take care of yourself, hold your own standards, and think, and honestly just think. But some doofus dudes who may come up on a girl over me, I would humbly accept some defeat by gentlemen like, not by a guy like Travis, who is an F-head. That's difficult to swallow, right? And I'm sure that you're gonna have a lot of opponents on that particular arena who are trying to be smooth-like and go through the easy route and, for lack of a better term, score. But what is the more meaningful victory here? I like to think a lot of the times that if I were to go back in time, and if I were to be back out into the field, it is the sort of thing where I would certainly be a bit more restrained. And I certainly wouldn't give too much stock to the idea of others, quote-unquote, gaining territory where I lost, simply because I think at that point, given everything that I know, I would understand that the people that I was dealing with or trying to interact with are not necessarily looking into the long game, which is, in these days, all that I see. And maybe that's a bias on its own, but that is kind of what I see. And you know what? That's okay, and that's fine.
What is it this time, stranger? You're quite effective at locating me, but not so good at leaving me in peace.
Just on one of my little jaunts through paradise is all, sir. Happen to be on the way toward my destination.
You think this place a paradise? At least down in the depths, there are so many other souls with whom to share one's misery.
This is indeed the guy who gives you your lives
Just
back.
passing through.
Partner of Achilles.
Take care then.
And voila, we are back to 3 lives. Our game has just turned. Now, if only the operator would also be back where they need to be. I think we need some water. It's hydration time. I wish I was one of those streamers that had one of those bots that told you, oh, by the way, you should be drinking water. Because I feel like I doubly need it for the fact that I'm constantly just like chugging poison. Was he the player before the player? I don't know if that's the case. I think that they came about Hades based on some sort of pact that he and Achilles did, and now they are stuck here. Even his attire looks like main character type. Yeah, I would say that he is certainly one of the more interesting denizens here in Hades. Let's move on. Cheers to the ones that we lost along the way. Ooh, fish.
Cheers for now. That's a bite.
We got a lamb. And some sustenance for our troubles. Imagine that we're at 100%. If we could only do a save state here. Let's go see Hermes. Hermes is good. Oof. Than. Of course it's Than.
We've got an urgent work-related matter to attend to.
Let's do this.
Excluding me, I hope. Now they're gone.
And of course, unfortunately, my shield is traveling back quite slowly. I always appreciate the appearance of Thanatos. Oh, come on. Boom.
You're clear of them for now.
Okay, I beat him.
Olympus, I accept this message.
After you dash, briefly become sturdy and move 100% faster. That's nice.
You earn this fair and square.
And you move faster, period. Nice.
Not yet.
Anything I can buy? Oh, right. I've got a heart.
Not a word of this. No way.
Okay, palm of power or heart. I think we're gonna go for the palm of power. Okay, that was the first half of the shadow band. And there's still the second half. I am already not in a great state. But you know what? The show must go on. At the very least for another 15 minutes or so. Ooh. This is the room before the room.
Power of Olympus.
Frozen touch. Let's go with Divine Dash. Okay, let's go ahead and challenge Theseus. For honor.
You again? Upon my faith, you'll take not one more step toward the light of day. Your slouching form is but a laughing stock compared to my superior technique.
Okay, and so we have to make sure that we avoid Theseus's spear. Oh, come on. So we're trying to deflect Minotaur. Oh, wow. To the defiance. I am out. Okay, this is wild.
Gracious audience, suppose you unwelcome pustule, I shall run you through.
Wow. Okay. This really has been a very poor boom choice. How is this thing not dead yet? Or at least out of the fight. Ooh, and there's no escape. Alright. I think that is good enough.
I swear that Theseus.
Yeah, honestly, or at the very least, I was fairly out of it, so that explains that. Let's go ahead and just wrap it up for the night. I don't want to embarrass myself any further here. And let's go with... Okay. So, that was the Ales and Fails Twitch stream. I missed it, so nobody saw, lol. Yeah, imagine that. We've got some pretty low viewership numbers, but you know what? That's okay. That's okay. We are doing this for the fun of it, not for the view count. Until we do it for the view count. Yeah, it was pretty solid, I want to say, until the point where I honestly just couldn't maneuver. But I certainly enjoyed myself. This was definitely a good time. Still got a lot of shadow band ahead of me, so yeah, I've got let's go ahead and say unfortunately tomorrow I won't be streaming a regular pub crawl block, simply because, as I suggested before, I'll be spending some time with my SO. Tune in next week. Next week is kind of a toss-up. I'll inform the Twitter in terms of what's happening over there, but it might be just a little bit weird in terms of scheduling. I've got a house project happening at that time. All that being said, hopefully you have an excellent weekend. This is in theory the final stream of the week. I'm trying to see if I can fit Monster Hunter sometime this weekend, but don't count on it. Simply because, yeah, it is very unlikely for that to actually happen. But all that being said, thank you very much for joining. Thank you very much, Inigo. Thank you very much, friend of the stream, Rio de Lobos, wherever you might be. Regular hours next week. Yeah, so what I was saying is there is a non-significant chance where I won't be able to stream next week. I've actually got some housework going around in my general area here, so I might have to miss one week. So there's that. I guess stay tuned. And yeah, have a good night. Thank you very much for the well wishes. And for everyone else out there, stay thirsty, Ale Pack. We'll see you again.